الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ما بعد. So inshallah ta'ala, tonight we start with Bab Siyam al-Tatawwu' from Umdat al-Fiqh, the chapter of the voluntary fast. The voluntary fast. So these issues here that we're talking about are not the fasts that are considered to be obligatory. This is after the fast of Ramadan. The best days or the best times of the year to fast after Ramadan. As Ramadan is obligatory, and the obligation precedes the recommended action. The obligation, the obligatory action supersedes the recommended action, the sunnah. And since Ramadan is a pillar from the 5 pillars, it's obligatory, it supersedes all of these days of fasting that come in this chapter. So throughout the chapter, all of these fasts are, I would say, secondary to the fast of Ramadan. So qala rahimahullah, Babu Siyam al-Tatawwu', the chapter of the voluntary fast. أفضل الصيام صيام داود عليه السلام كان يصوم يوما ويفطر يوما. The best fast after Ramadan is the way that Dawood fasted, alayhi salatu wasalam. Dawood, alayhi salam, he would fast every other day. كان يصوم يوما ويفطر يوما. So that's the best way to fast after Ramadan. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith, قال حديث عبد الله بن عمر قال صم يوما وافطر يوما. Fast one day and break your fast the next day. This is the advice that he gave him. He said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فذلك صيام داود وهو أفضل الصيام. He said fasting every other day is the fast of Dawood, and this is the best fast. It's the best way to fast. فقلت, يعني Abdullah ibn Amr, he said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فقلت إني أطيق أفضل من ذلك. He said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'm able to do better than that. I can do more than that. I can do more than every other day. And he said, أفضل, I can do better than that, than the fast of Dawood. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا أفضل من ذلك. There is nothing better than that, than the fast of Dawood alayhi salam. There is no fast better than the fast of Dawood, the way that he fasted every other day.
So I know we can fast on Mondays and Thursdays. So if we was to practice that sooner, we can do that too. About
the fast of Dawood?
Yeah, the fast
every other day?
Yeah.
There you go. طيب. That's the first one. And altogether he mentions 9 different voluntary fasts, or 9 different types. That's the first one. The first description is the fast of Dawood, which is alayhi salam, which is every other day. طيب. He says, وَأَفْضَلُ الصِّيَامِ بَعْدَ شَهْرِ رَمَضَانِ شَهْرُ اللَّهِ الَّذِي يَدْعُونَهُ الْمُحَرَّمِ. The best month to fast, for a person with a fast for an entire month, the best month to fast after the month of Ramadan, بعد شهر رمضان, after the month of Ramadan, if a person wants to fast the whole month, شهر الله الذي يدعونه المحرم, the month of Muharram, the month of Muharram. And that's the importance of knowing that the month on the Islamic calendar, because these fasts are connected to the Islamic calendar. They're not connected to January, February, March. They're connected to the Islamic months, the Islamic calendar. So the month of Muharram is the first month on the Islamic calendar. The first month on the Islamic calendar is Muharram. The 9th month is Ramadan. After Ramadan, Shawwal. Before Ramadan, Sha'ban. The first month is Muharram. So if a person wanted to fast an entire month, the best month will be Muharram. لما روي عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أفضل الصيام بعد شهر رمضان شهر الله المحرم. Recorded by Abu Dawud wa Tirmidhi. وقال حديث حسن. That the Prophet ﷺ said, that is narrated on Abu Hurairah, the best fast after the month of Ramadan is the month of Muharram, which is the first month on the Islamic calendar, which might not necessarily agree with January. It doesn't mean that every January is the best month to fast. It means every Muharram is the best month to fast. So, if you want to know when Muharram is, then, most people have play apps on their phone, the Salah app. Usually they tell you what month on the Islamic calendar. It can be fast. It's not hard to find out which month on the Islamic calendar that we're in throughout the year. But it's not connected necessarily to the calendar we use every day. Even though it's the first month on the Islamic calendar, it doesn't mean January every year. طيب. So those are the first two. Then he says, وَمَا مِنْ أَيَّامٍ الْعَمَلُ الصَّالِحُ فِيهِنَّ أَحَبُّ إِلَى اللَّهِ مِنْ عَشْرِ ذِي الْحِجَّةِ. And there are no better days to do a righteous action, where in those days righteous actions are beloved. Allah loves when His worshippers, His slaves, perform righteous actions than the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. The first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Dhul Hijjah is the last time of Hajj. The time of Hajj. Right? Dhul Qa'dah and Dhul Hijjah. The last month of the year. So, not December, because it's 12 months on the Islamic calendar, but these are the Islamic months. You have to go by the Islamic month. So, Dhul Hijjah, you have to make sure we know when is Dhul Hijjah. And in Dhul Hijjah, the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah specifically. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم ما من أيام العمل الصالح فيهن أحب إلى الله من عشر ذي الحجة. The Prophet ﷺ said, there are no days wherein a person performs a righteous action and it is more beloved to Allah than if they did it during these 10 days, the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. قالوا, so they asked him, Ya Rasulullah, no action, because he said there's no action that a person does, any action, and they do it in these first 10 days, that is more beloved to Allah Jalla wa Ala.
That's just the opposite of
the last 10 during Ramadan.
Right, kind of sort of.
Hey, and that's the issue. Which one is better? Or they might differ. Which time is better? The first 10 days of the Hijjah because of this hadith, or the last 10 days of Ramadan because you got Laylatul Qadr.
Right.
So it's a khilaf in that. I think that comes in the chapter of Laylatul Qadr maybe. But generally,
that would be a fun one.
yeah, it is. They make they say the days of Dhul Hijjah are better
And the nights of.
than the last nights of Ramadan are better. The nights are better during Ramadan and the days are better during Dhul Hijjah. And that's called al-jam' bayn al-nusus. When they do something like that, they combine between the texts. Instead of just leaving off one text, leaving off one hadith and just running with one hadith, the two hadith, which one is better? So they make a combination between the two. Therefore, neither hadith is left without being practiced, without being implemented. Therefore, we say, okay, how do we implement this hadith? We say that the first 10 days, the days are better. But as far as Ramadan, the nights are better. Therefore, both of the hadith are used. طيب. So when he said this, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, they asked him, they said, وَلَا جِهَادْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Not even if a person fought in a war, فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. That's not even better? You mean tell me the actions in those first 10 days, there's no actions better. Not even fighting. As he said in the hadith, وَلَا جِهَادُ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Not even fighting. فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. قَالَ وَلَا جِهَادُ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. La, not even jihad fi sabilillah. Not even going to a war fighting in the path of Allah. إِلَّا الرَّجُلٌ خَرَجَ بِنَفْسِهِ وَمَالِهِ فَلَمْ يَرْجَعْ مِنْ ذَلِكَ بِشَيْءٍ. Except for the one who went out to fight with his money and himself, and he came back with nothing, meaning he died in the battlefield. Other than that, there's no other action in those 10 days that are more beloved to Allah when a person doing righteous act, to show the importance of knowing the Islamic calendar, because we have opportunities throughout the year. We don't just have Ramadan. We got Ramadan, 10 days of Al-Hijjah, and the other ones that he's going to mention. طيب. That was 3. He says, مَنْ صَامَ رَمَضَانَ وَأَتْبَعَهُ بِسِتٍّ مِنْ شَوَّالٍ فَكَأَنَّمَا صَامَ الدَّهْرَ كُلَّهُ. فَكَأَنَّمَا صَامَ الدَّهْرَ كُلَّهُ. That whoever fasts Ramadan, and then he follows up Ramadan with the month after Ramadan, which is Shawwal, and they fast 6 days during the month of Shawwal, which is the month immediately after Ramadan. They said for this person, they fast the entire Ramadan, and then they fast 6 days from Shawwal. It is as if they fasted for an entire year. For an entire year. And that means a person fasts 1 month in less than a week. Not even a week of another month. 1 month and not even 7 days. 6 days to get the reward for fasting as if they fasted for an entire year. Allah Akbar. طيب. He says, وَالصِّيَامُ يَوْمْ عَاشُورَاء كَفَّارَةُ السَّنَةِ. When a person fasts the day of Ashura, which is 1 day, كَفَّارَةُ السَّنَةٍ. And Yom Ashura is in the month of Muharram, the first month, but it's 1 day during those first 10 days. There's 1 day during that first 10 days. He just mentioned that any action during those first 10 days is more beloved to Allah, right? That it happens during those first 10 days. But in those first 10 days, there's another day that if a person fasting that day is an expiation, it removes the sins for 1 year, for the previous year, for the past year. For fasting that 1 day, Yom Ashura.
This is in addition to fasting 10 days. So this is another bonus or plus.
This is a bonus. All of the 10 days, you can fast all 10. What if a person didn't fast all 10?
You're talking about the month of Muharram, right?
Yeah, month of Muharram, the first month. A person might fast all 10 days of the first 10, but they might not. They might wait till the 10th day and fast the 10th day. As a hadith, this hadith is for the 10th day. The other hadith is for all 10 days. Anything done between those 10 days, right? The Prophet ﷺ said they're the most beloved actions that are done during those 10 days.
So that's in Muharram and in Dhul Hijjah?
La. That's in Muharram. Those 10 days are in Muharram.
Okay.
That's what I said. What did I say?
I thought you said something about the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sahih.
So which one we talking
We're talking about Yom Ashura, which is in Muharram.
Okay.
Which is in Muharram, Sahih.
That's the first year.
Ayo, the first month. طيب. Yom Ashura is in Muharram. It's the 10th day. And that's what we usually do, like the 9th, 10th, or the 11th.
Right.
Jazakallah khair. So that day there, all of them are important to know, when does the month start? I mean, we usually put emphasis on sighting the moon for Ramadan. But in order to catch the 10th day of Muharram, you still got to know when the month started. That's why some people fast and some ulama say fast all 3. Right? Just to make sure that you don't miss the the reward for fasting on the 10th day. It says, لما روى أبو قتادة عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال, as narrated on Qatada, and the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, صيام عاشوراء إني أحتسب على الله أن يكفر السنة التي قبله. He said that fasting the day of Ashura, and his hope that the sins for the previous year will be forgiven for fasting that one day. But that one day, the 10th, is dependent on the start of the month, because a person could fast on the 9th day and miss it. And they could fast on the 11th day and miss it. Right? So all of the things connected to the sighting of the moon during Ramadan, all of those things, they're connected to the sighting of the moon. Meaning the importance of knowing when the moon comes in. If it's cloudy, what to do. Right? So they're looking for the moon for Muharram, so that the people can know. Right? Like it's cloudy. Right? So now you gotta start a month off with, the month might start with some doubt. And some of them might say that you just fast all 3 days just to be on the safe side. And that's a whole issue in itself. A whole issue in itself of how to fast Ashura, the day before with the day, the 10th, or the day after with the 10th, meaning the 9th and the 10th, or the 10th and the 11th, or should you do the 9th, 10th, and the 11th? Can you just do the 10th by itself? That's a whole issue in itself. But the point here is that fasting Yom Ashura removes the sins for the previous year, which was the 5th one. Then he goes on with Siyamu Yom Arafah. Yom Arafah, during the Hajj. Kafaratu Sanatain. That fasting, Yom Arafah, is an expiation for the sins for 2 years. As it comes in the hadith, Siyamu. And this is the hadith of Qatada, Siyamu. يحتسب على الله أن يكفر السنة التي قبله والسنة التي بعده. Fasting, Yom Arafat, it says it is an expiation for the previous year and the year to come after it. Fasting one day, Yom Arafat, fasting one day. طيب, Yom Arafat. Yom Arafat is in Dhul Hijjah. طيب. And this is for, as it says, وَلَا يُسْتَحَبْ لِمَنْ كَانَ بِعَرَفَةٍ يَصُومَ. But it's not recommended for the people on Arafah to fast. So this fast is recommended for the people who are not making Hajj. Not for the Hajjaj. For the people who are not making Hajj. As they say, the person making Hajj needs his strength or her strength when they're on Arafah to be able to stand all day and make the dua. And fasting may weaken, may cause weakness to them where they're not able to stand and make dua. They might sleep the whole Arafah. It's hot and it's a long day. You're talking from Dhuhr to Maghrib, standing, making dua, right? Not a worry in the world except to stand and make dua from Dhuhr to Maghrib. So if a person's fasting, they may get weak. They may fall asleep and wake up at Maghrib and miss the whole day.
No, during that time they stop and pray, right?
There you go. Yo, we Muslim, right? Yeah. Is it impermissible to sleep when on Hajj? No. You can sleep, but the point here is they're talking about for the people on Hajj. Yom Arafat on Hajj is the most important day of the Hajj. Where the people stand and they're praying from Dhuhr to Maghrib all day. That's it. No move. That's all you have to do. You don't have anything else to do. Stop, eat if you want. What they're saying is the person at that point, because it's hot, it's crowded, it's a lot going on. If they're fasting, it may cause them to lose the strength to be able to stand at that time, to be able to, be aware, awake, praying, right? So for those people, they shouldn't fast. Those people should do is pray. For the people who aren't making Hajj, the rest of the people in the world that aren't making Hajj, that they should fast that day, right? Yom Arafah. And if they do fast, that it removes the sins from the previous year and the coming year, the forthcoming year, Sanatain. So Yom Ashura removes 1 year of sins and the past year of sins. And fasting Yom Arafat, the day of Arafat, on the Hajj, removes 2 years of sins, the past and the present.
Minor sins.
There you go. The minor sins. As the major sins, a person has to make tawbah, repentance for the major sins. Major sins, a person has to make tawbah for the major sins. And there are a lot of major sins. There's a lot of major sins. Yeah. Tayyib. So that was six. That was 6 different voluntary fasts after the obligatory fast of Ramadan. ويستحق صيام أيام البيض, the white days, right? It's recommended to fast the white days of every month. Does anybody know how you can tell if it's the white days or not?
The illumination of the moon.
The illumination of the
Like
moon.
the moon is like a certain type of glow that it has. I might not be explaining it right.
It's glowing. It's definitely glowing.
Definitely glowing.
Yeah.
It's definitely glowing.
The 13th, the 14th, and 15th?
Hey, what if you don't, I don't have a calendar? I mean, yeah, that's 13, 14, 15. But generally, though, those days it's a full moon. Right? On those days it's a full moon.
If you don't have a calendar, it's not a cloud, it's a cloudy, you don't see
You can kind of,
Then that's when you go to the days.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
But other than
I mean, they go together. It's a full moon at that time. The moon is at its fullest point
okay.
during that time of the month, right? As in the beginning of the month, it's the crescent in the beginning of the month. And through the month, towards the middle of the month, it's full. Then at the end of the month, it goes back down to a crescent. So those white days are, right, the 13th, 14th, and 15th, but the 13th of the Islamic calendar. You might look up there the 13th, 14th, and 15th of, what's this, May? Or June, right? May. May or June, July, you might look up there the 13th, 14th, and 15th, and those are not the white days. The white days on the Islamic calendar are the rulings, all of these rulings are connected to the Islamic calendar. The Islamic calendar, the 13th, 14th, and 15th on the Islamic calendar. Tayyib. So it's recommended to fast the white days of every month. That was the 7th, number 7. Number 8, Wal-Ithnain. It's recommended to fast on Mondays. On Mondays. Tayyib. Monday is Monday. Meaning, it's called Ithnain in Arabic, but it's Monday. Yom al-Ithnain is Monday in Arabic. Yom al-Jumu'ah is Friday. Sept, Saturday. Ahad, Sunday. Ithnain, Monday. So it goes over and over just like Jumu'ah. So it's recommended to fast on Mondays. Wal Ithnain, and that's number 8, and number 9, Wal Khamis. And Thursdays. It's recommended to fast on Thursdays. And this is every Monday, every Thursday. Not obligatory. But if a person wanted to fast every Monday, then it's recommended. Sunnah.
When you fast Monday, do you have to fast Thursday?
No, you don't have to fast both.
Okay.
You don't have to do any of them.
It's recommended.
All of them are recommended. A person might want to do Mondays and Thursdays. They might do every Monday. Maybe they're off. They don't work. Every Monday they don't work. So they say, I'm going to fast on Mondays because it's easier. Whatever the situation is. Thursdays is a good day for them. Everybody's situation is different. Right? They might pick one day. They might choose both days. Either way, it's recommended to fast Mondays and Thursdays. And in the Haram, in Mecca and in Medina, in the Haram, every Monday, and in some of the regular Saajid, Every Monday is a spread. There's a spread. There's a bunch of people in the Haram breaking fast together. Every Monday and Thursday. Big long spread with dates and tea. And the people break fast at the Kaaba together. Every Monday and Thursday. It's in Mecca and in Medina. It's not obligatory, but and it's nice to see. It's nice to see how many people are actually practicing the sunnah of fasting Mondays and Thursdays, which might not be a popular thing. طيب, it came in a hadith عن أسامة بن زيد أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يصوم الاثنين والخميس, that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم used to fast on Mondays and Thursdays. فسئل عن ذلك, so somebody asked the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم about fasting on Mondays and Thursdays. فقال إن أعمال الناس تعرض يوم الاثنين ويوم الخميس, that the actions of the slaves are presented to Allah Jalla wa Ala on Mondays and Thursdays, and I want to be fasting when my actions are presented. طيب, فأحب أن يعرض عملي وأنا صائم. So I like to be fasting when my actions are presented to Allah Jalla wa Ala. طيب, those were the 9. Those were 9 different voluntary fasts. So now the hukum on fasting. The hukum on fasting, voluntary fast. It says, وَالصِّيَامُ الْمُتَطَوَّعِ أَمِيرُ النَّفْسِ. صيام المتطوع أمير النفس. يعني the one who's doing a voluntary fast, he's in control of his own, let's say, it's up to him. He has the choice. He can continue fasting, he can break his fast, right? Meaning, if a person says, I'm fasting tomorrow on, for example, a Thursday. I want to fast tomorrow on a Thursday, right? In the middle of the day, they say, you know what? I think I'm going to break my fast, right? طيب, after the Dhuhr, they break their fast, they go somewhere, get something to eat. They broke their fast, right? They chose the fast, but then they broke the fast. So now they have to make the day up or no?
No.
No. No?
No.
No. Even though they said I'm fasting.
Because it's voluntary.
It's voluntary. Mil nafsa. So number one, he doesn't have to continue, even though it's not recommended. It's not something recommended to stop a righteous action. It's a righteous action. I'm an Saajid. So it's not recommended that a person breaks the fast, even if it's voluntary. But if they did break it, if something came up, if they were working, it got too difficult, and it was a voluntary fast, then they have the option. They can break the fast. In sha'a sama wa in sha'a aftar. If they want, they can continue fasting, and if they choose to, they can break the fast. Secondly, وَلَا قَضَاءَ عَلَيْهِ. Secondly, and they don't have to make the day up. They don't have to make the day up. طيب, وَكَذَلِكَ سَائِرُ التَّطَوِّعِ إِلَّا الْحَجْ وَالْعُمْرَةِ. It says, and likewise, any other voluntary action, a person doesn't have to complete the voluntary action once they start it. Right? They might do it's not just for fasting, right? A person might do something else, the sunnah act. They started, it's voluntary, in the middle something gets difficult, it's not what they thought it was going to be, right? Something comes up where it's going to make it a little more difficult than they thought, so they stop the action. Even though it's not recommended, it's not something that's recommended to do, to stop it once they started, because it's something beneficial, it's worship, right? It's a righteous action. But if it became like that, then they have the choice. They can stop the action, or they can continue the action, except 2 things. إِلَّا حَجْ وَالْعُمْرَةِ. Except for Hajj wal-Umrah. Meaning, a person already made their obligatory Hajj, or their obligatory Umrah, right? A person made their obligatory Umrah already, and they made their obligatory Hajj. So now, they want to go make Hajj again, or they want to go make Umrah again. Ala qawl, that Umrah is obligatory, right? On the position that Umrah is obligatory.
So you're speaking as if a person that is on Hajj, and you do the Umrah, you know.
Person already made Hajj, their obligatory Hajj.
Okay.
or they already made their obligatory umrah, right? Now they want to go back for another umrah. The second umrah is not obligatory, right? The second hajj is not obligatory. But once they start that, right, it's voluntary, right? Voluntary actions, you can stop them whenever you, right? La, not hajj, not umrah. Hajj and not umrah are not included in those voluntary actions that a person has the choice to complete or not complete. These have to be carried all the way out. As Allah says in the ayat in the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, in ayat 196, Allah says, قَالَ تَعَالَى وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ, and complete the hajj and the umrah lillah. And complete the hajj and the umrah lillah. So they use this ayat to say, it's a command that hajj and umrah have to be completed once they started. Once they started. They're not from those actions that can be, that a person has the choice. Also they say, لِأَنَّهُمَا لَا يُوصَلْ إِلَيْهِمَا إِلَّا بِالْكُلْفَ الشَّدِيدَةِ. Also because a person doesn't go to make a hajj and umrah except that it's like, we won't say a burden, but it's not easy like that. It's not like you run in the bathroom and make wudu from pray to sunnahs, right? It's a bunch of paperwork, it's a bunch of money, it's a bunch of things that a person has to leave in order in the household, work. It's a lot of things going on for a person to be able to make that trip. A lot of money being spent, usually. It says, فَإِبَاحَةُ الْخُرُوجِ مِنْهُمَا يُفْضِي إِلَى تَضْيِيعِ مَالٍ بِغَيْرِ فَائِدَةٍ. So if it was left that a person could just stop whenever they want for the hajj and the umrah, it would lead to wasting money. It would lead to wasting money. Generally, this is the ta'leel. This is the reasoning they give behind it. The actual dalil they use is the ayah. Allah said, وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ. Allah said, and complete the hajj and the umrah lillah. Right? This is a ta'leel. This is another reason why they say that a person has to complete it. Therefore, if they do, meaning they can't break it, right? Meaning if they stop the hajj, or if they stop the umrah, then what's upon them? They have to complete it, right? It says, وَإِلْزَامُهُ الْقَضَاءُ مَا أَفْسَدَ مِنْهُمَا. He said, at the same time, it's still on them to complete whatever they stop from the hajj. Whatever they left incomplete is on them to complete it. That's a whole nother issue. What if a person goes back to their land, whatever country they're from? Right? He says, so this is a wasila ila muhafadha alayhima. فَلَا يُضِيعُ مَا أَنْفَقَ عَلَيْهِمَا. So this is a way of also preserving the wealth of the people, so people don't waste money going, breaking the hajj or breaking the umrah. Right? طيب. So due to the ayah that said the hajj and the umrah don't fall under those voluntary actions, not the obligatory hajj and the umrah, the voluntary the voluntary actions that have to be completed due to the ayah. طيب. He says, and now he mentions the prohibited times of fasting. When is it prohibited? When is it not allowed to fast? The times that it's impermissible to fast. Does anybody know the impermissible times of fasting? When can't we fast? When you're sick. You can fast when you're sick, as long as it's not going to cause, kill yourself. You can fast when you're on medication, as long as it's not going to harm you to where you're going to, cause more damage. Prophet ﷺ prohibited us from fasting specific times. Right? On a Friday.
You have to be fasting the day before.
Tayyib, Jade. But you can fast on Friday.
Okay, well, you would have to fast the day before
Tayyib.
Friday to fast on the Friday and fast the day after.
But you can fast on Friday, right?
I thought I was correct, but yes.
But so you can fast on Friday as long as you're with the day before. You with me?
I see what you're saying.
Huh?
You can't fast on the Eid.
There you are. They're Eid. They're Eid. MashaAllah. Naha Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam an som yomain. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam prohibited us from fasting on 2 days. Yom al-Fitr and Yom al-Nahr. The 2 days, the 2 Eids have been prohibited from fasting. All the other ones, there is about fasting on Friday by itself.
No.
That's an issue. Fasting Friday, you can fast on Friday, but do you fast only Friday? Just Friday by itself? Then you should fast the day before, Thursday and Friday, or Friday and Saturday. That's it. But you can fast on Friday. These days, day of the Eid, the 2 Eids, Naha Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam an Sawmi Yawmayn, Yawm al-Fitr wa Yawm al-Nahr. The Eid al-Fitr and the Eid al-Adha. So those are 2. The third one, وَنَهَى عَنْ صَوْمِ أَيَّامِ التَّشْرِيقِ. أَيَّامِ التَّشْرِيقِ. Ayyam al-Tashriq are those days during Hajj after Yom al-Arafah. After Yom al-Arafah. Right? After Yom al-Arafah, the days when the people stay in Mina. They stay in the tents. Ayyam al-Tashriq. And a person doesn't fast those days. And a person doesn't fast those days. Even the people on Hajj, they shouldn't fast those days, except if they don't have an animal to slaughter. If they don't have an animal to slaughter, then they can fast those days. Right.
So when you do fast, do you get like more of a reward, or like?
If you fast while traveling, do you get more of a reward? Allah. If you get more of a reward for fasting while you travel, that's an issue in itself. Should you fast while you travel? That's a whole issue. As far as the reward, Allah, if you get more reward, because the Prophet said sometimes he didn't fast while he was traveling. It's a whole issue. Sometimes he did. So it depends on the ability of the person. You might be able to fast, right, while you're traveling. It might be a little difficult for somebody else. They might feel the travel. They might feel the effects of the travel a little more than you, right? The next person might be stronger than the next. So the the travel might not bother him as much. Can he tell you can't fast? He can't tell you can't fast. And you can't tell him he can't break his fast. It's an option. Which one is more reward? Allahu a'lam. Tayyib. Which one?
Fasting while traveling.
Are you talking about Ramadan or are you talking about in general? Generally, no. Generally, that's just a situation you're in when you travel. The voluntary fasts are these, the 9. For example, it's a Monday. It's voluntary fast to fast on Mondays and Thursdays, right? Like on Monday, somebody's traveling. Maybe they're traveling to California, wherever. They're going to New York, they're going to wherever they're going. It's voluntary to fast on Monday. They want to get the reward for fasting on Monday, as it comes in the hadith of the Prophet. Just happens so on this Monday, they're traveling. Right? Them traveling doesn't have anything to do with Monday. They just happen to be traveling on a Monday. Right? The reward is connected to the Monday. The reward is not connected to them traveling. You with me? The reward is connected to the person fasting on Monday or fasting on Thursday. It's not connected to them traveling on Monday and Thursday. So if they wanted to travel on Monday, they could travel. If they wanted to fast while they're traveling, they could fast while they travel. If they said, I'm going to fast tomorrow, and then they forget, tomorrow I'm traveling, so tomorrow when they wake up, they say, you know what, I'm not going to fast, I'm traveling today. They can do that. You with me? The travel makes it is a lot of room. It's a lot of room. If you want to fast, you can fast. If you don't want to fast, you want to fast. Which one is more reward? Allah. But you say it's not obligatory to fast, but what?
If you're traveling.
During Ramadan.
So like if you fast, is it considered voluntary or is it considered?
La. If it's Ramadan, you're fasting, you make an intention for Ramadan to fast. If you go travel, if you're traveling during Ramadan, you can break your fast. And you have to make the day up. But you have an excuse to break your fast. Because you're traveling. If it's 2 of y'all traveling, you decide to fast. It's Ramadan. You decide to complete your Ramadan. You don't want to have any days to make up. Right? Some people say, I'm just fast all and I don't have to make no days up after Ramadan. So you say, I don't want to have to make days up. So you fast. The brother you with, he says, I'm breaking. It's too much. I can't do it. It's too much. I'm going to just make it up. He can do that. Right? He can do that. Yours would be considered from Ramadan. Right? It's connected. The fast is connected to either the month, the time. The fast is not connected to the travel. There is no travel fast. Right? I could be fasting Ramadan and then I travel. Right? My fast is connected to Ramadan. It's not connected to me traveling. I just happen to be traveling during Ramadan. You with me? Tayyib. So, the last one, Ayyam al-Tashriq. A person does not fast on those days, except, and there's an exception there, except if they don't have an animal to slaughter. It says, وَلَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ فِي الْوِتْرِ مِنْ عَشْرِ الْأَوَاخِرِ مِنْ رَمَضَانِ. The Laylatul Qadr, the night of decree, falls during the last 10 nights on the odd nights. During the last 10 nights on the odd nights, as it comes in the hadith. Last 10 nights of the odd nights during the last 10 nights. And that's a whole issue in itself. And the more detailed books, it says, well, arju. It says, and it's hoped that is the 27th. And that's a whole issue. Is it exactly the 27th? Does it move around the last 10 nights, meaning one year is the 27th, the next night is the 25th? That's a whole issue that this book is not built for that type of differing. This book is not built for that type of differing. This book, as it says plainly, وَاللَّيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ فِي الْوِتْرِ مِنَ الْعَشْرِ الْأَوَاخِرِ مِنْ رَمَضَانِ. That's the text itself. And the night of decree comes on an odd night within the last 10 nights of Ramadan. In the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Even though some people specify that the 27th is it. So the messages are usually like packed on the 27th. Right? There's a hadith though that mentions the 27th.
And then another thing is like, you just pray the taught away at the Isha. That's considered the night. So you don't really have to come back. Like when people come back, they starting at 2 or 1.
Mm-hmm.
You could just pray taught away through the 11, and then
After Isha.
After Isha. That's your night.
Right.
So you can seek, inshallah, you can seek late color just doing the taught away.
Yeah. After Isha. Sahih. I mean, the best time to pray is like later in the night. That's the best time to pray.
That's why they come.
So, I mean, maybe a person wants to pray in a better. You don't have to pray both.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You could pray after Isha, and you could be. Or a person might want to go home, lay down, rest, and get back up and come back out. It's a choice. A person wants to pray in the middle of the night. But I can't pray in the middle of the night. Maybe I got to work in the morning. So I want to get mine in now. It's still during the time. It's not the best time, but it's still in the time constraints of for the salat.
Still meets the condition.
It still meets the condition. I mean, just like any salat, right? The salat has a preferred time, has a permissible time, and it has an impermissible time. It has a time where you shouldn't have delayed it that much till it got to that point. Like let's say Asr, Salat al-Asr. It's better to pray early when it comes in. But you have all the way until, Maghrib to pray Asr. It's permissible to pray all the time. It's permissible. But if you get, if Maghrib is at 8:15 and that is 8:12, you still didn't pray Asr. Right? At this point, it's sinful if a person doesn't have an excuse to not pray the Salat, to wait until that portion is left. Waqt daruri is called. Waqt daruri. It's like now it's like out of necessity. You got to pray now because you already missed the Salat in this time period without an excuse. Right? So you got the preferred time, which is in the beginning for Asr. Any permissible time, all that time up until Maghrib. Like it's the Maghrib is 8:12, 8:13, where you can't even pray Maghrib in 2 minutes. Where you're gonna end up praying some of the Salat. Asr. You can't even pray Asr in 2-3 minutes. You're going to end up praying some of Asr in the Waqt of Maghrib. When a person does that, if they don't have an excuse, that's a sin. Delaying the Salat out of is Waqt. To do it without an excuse. But still, there are times. Same thing for the Tarawih. The middle of the night is better, but it becomes, allowable to pray after Salat al-Isha. So any time between that is fine.
You still get probably, and then if you don't come back, and nobody still can catch the Qadr on that odd night.
Again?
You understand what I'm saying? Like when you said it's better to come back in the middle of the night, like later, that's the best. But you just can pray the Tarawih on the odd nights and still try to catch later to Qadr.
I don't understand.
When you said it's better to pray, you can come back.
Any night, all the night prayers after Isha, it's better to pray them late.
Late. Okay.
All of them. Odd night, even night.
Okay.
It's better to pray Tahajjud.
No.
It's better later, the last third.
Okay.
That's the best time. But a person may feel, maybe I might not wake up. I'm a hard sleeper. Not for Fajr, for Tahajjud or for the late prayer. Whatever, I gotta be to work. Whatever the case is, I want to get it in. I still want to pray during that time, right? Then they can pray after Isha, like most people, like most of the Saajid do. The coming back, Allah. Some people can come. Some people want to come back. Some people want to pray in that late time. For example, if you're able to pray late in the middle of the night, you're able to get up. There's a bunch of people that are able to get up. Maybe not everybody, but it's like a nice. They want to pray later. Tayyib. It's a group of people that can come pray at that time. But because there's a group who can, what about the rest of the people who can't? Therefore, some people pray early, some people pray late. Do you have to do both? You don't have to do both. Yeah, one is sufficient. One is sufficient. Allah. Tayyib. It says, and it's hoped that Laylat al-27 is Laylat al-Qadr. فيستحب إحياء هذه الليلة وغيرها من ليالي العشر بقيام الليل. So it's recommended to spend those nights in prayer, standing in prayer. لقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم من قام ليلة القدر إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. That whoever stands during the night of Qadr, Laylat al-Qadr, believing in Allah, seeking His reward from Allah, that he or she will be forgiven for their previous sins. One night. Allah Akbar. One night. So now you got the fast of Ashura, which forgives 1 year. You got the fast of Yom Arafat, which forgives 2 years. 1 day of fasting. 1 day of fasting, a year of sins removed. Another 1 day of fasting, 2 years removed. Right? 1 night of praying, Laylat al-Qadr. Yeah. The Prophet ﷺ said that his previous sins will be forgiven. And also the ayah, خير من ألف شهر, that Laylat al-Qadr is better than 1,000 nights. 1 night, better than 1,000 months. Better than 1,000 months, which equals like 80 years or something like that. 83 years. 83 years in 1 night. Allah Akbar. He says, so what is recommended is that a person prays during the night, during those nights, seeking Allah's reward, trying to get the reward mentioned in that hadith. أما ما يفعله كثير من الناس في هذه الأزمان من تخصيص ليلة 27 بعمرة فهذا من البدع. He says, what we find now to specify like the 27th night that people want to single out. They single out the 27th night to perform Umrah, to make Umrah on the 27th night. He says, then this is a bid'ah. لأنهم تركوا المشروع في هذه الليلة وهو القيام. Because they left off the legislated, which has been legislated by the Prophet ﷺ, and that's qiyam. Qiyam, as he says in the hadith, من قام ليلة القدر إيمانا واحتسابا. Whoever stands to pray Laylat al-Qadr, believing in Allah, seeking His reward. He says, so to specify that with another type of ibadah. It says, وَخُصُوهَا بِعِبَادَةٍ لَمْ يَرِدْ فِي الشَّرْعِ تَخْصِيصُهَا بِهَا. So what they've done when they do that is they specify something of worship. They put some type of specification on the worship that the religion hasn't specified. There's no authentic text specifying to make Umrah. The text points that we should be praying. And I prayed at the Haram one time on the 27th night. 27th night, there was nowhere to pray. I'm talking about nowhere. It was people praying on every step. Every step, it was a person praying. I walked by, I was wondering how they gonna pray. How you gonna make sajda? They was standing in the back of each other on steps on the 27th night praying. And I walked like all over. I couldn't find out one. The only thing was one space to just walk around. It was one little to walk around the Harlem everywhere. It was a cop just trying to make sure, nobody's, because the people they'll stop and pray there in the pathway. But it was nowhere to pray. Not one place. Now outside was the same way. The street was like, that was on the 27th.
So what did you do?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I saw a brother from Holland. I was going to leave, but I saw a brother from Holland. He called. I was walking by. He was making i'tikaf. A brother in my class was making i'tikaf from Holland. Ismail. He was making i'tikaf. So when I walked by, he called me, and he had a spot right next to him. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. I was going to leave though, because there was nowhere to pray. I mean, I was better off. I was going to just basically walk outside and start walking back towards the house and just pray out in the street.
That's still a harm, right?
I mean, yeah, you're still praying with the imam, but you want to be in there. Alhamdulillah. Tayyib, we'll stop there. The next chapter is the Bab al-I'tikaf, the chapter of making i'tikaf. Hopefully, we'll finish next week, inshallah, before Ramadan. Ramadan might be Friday. So, inshallah, next week we'll do Bab al-I'tikaf and Zakat al-Fitr. Bab al-I'tikaf and Zakat al-Fitr.
Now, you pay with money and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. Is it permissible to pay with money or not?
Right.
That's Zakat al-Fitr. So we'll do the chapter of the i'tikaf, inshallah, and then the chapter of Zakat al-Fitr last, inshallah ta'ala. Any questions?
Last chapter, 40.
Yeah,
Can you pay the food or pay the locale people?
we'll leave that.
Yeah.
We'll leave that until then,
That's juicy.
inshallah. Sallallahu sallam wa barakatuh.
Major.
Major.
Another class.